sleeping bag. Dana Perino, the 5. It was a sitcom without the sermon.
How could you have voted for him, Roseanne?
He talked about jobs, Jackie. He said he'd shake things up. I mean, this might come as a complete shock to you, but we almost lost our house the way things are going.
Have you looked at the news? Because now things are worse.
Not on the real news.
Oh, please! You kept saying what a disaster it would be if she got elected and how I wasn't seeing the big picture and how everything was rigged. And then I go into the booth and I voted for Jill Stein.
Who's Jill Stein?
Some doctor.
Perfect. The Roseanne reboot aired last night. It was huge. 18 million people watched. And sorry, Stormy, this other Trump woman trounced your interview in the key demo. I watched the show. It was messy and raw, but it was also funny, meaning it was human. Each character was likable but flawed. The anti-Trumper was irrational. The pro-Trumper was sloganeering. And here's a first. Hillary was off her saintly perch.
And Jackie thinks every girl should grow up and be president, even if they're a liar, pantsuit on fire.
I think we know who's liar and who's on fire, Roseanne.
So why is this so refreshing? Well, people are desperate for a real reflection of the political discussion, minus the biased framing from Hollywood and the media. Both left and right were present on the show, but neither were based on their adversaries' worst fears. In Roseanne's world, disagreement doesn't make you an enemy. Unlike her lefty peers in Hollywood, she found a way to shrink the political tribalism, replacing demonization with dialogue, which means it could only upset those who need division to keep their fading name in play, meaning Tom Arnold. Yes, after I tweeted about the show, saying it's the most honest assessment of recent times that isn't found in your own house, the has-been used his angry, stubby fingers to tweet, "We sure as F aren't going to find it at Greg Gutfeld, Fox News." Now, I don't know poor Tom, but we all know a poor Tom, a faded relic who lashes out at the mere thought of an ex doing well. It's that old rule. If you're upset someone's successful, it's because you aren't. But play nice, Tom, and maybe you'll score a bit part as a washed-up comic playing the Laugh Shop in Calgary on April 29th. See how nice I am? I actually plugged his gig in April, Tom Arnold.
He really has one.
Yes, he does. He does. April 29th. Tom, you owe me that. I demanded
People will stampede.
Exactly. All right, this is a pretty 18.2 million viewers, Dana. A higher demo than Stormy. But you got 20.
Totally different. It's like a news show versus a sitcom. But yes, okay, fine.
Don't laugh at my comparisons,
No,
or I
I'm
will
not
skip
laughing.
you and go to Jesse.
We'll surely find a favorable audience here with this guy.
Skip.
Oh, my God.
Has she been skipped?
No.
Okay, so I loved Roseanne when I was growing up.
You were like 6.
No, actually, I was trying to think. I guess I was a lot older than I think I was at the time, but I loved watching it, especially because, I grew up in a part of the world where this was like a normal family. Like, I knew people who had families like this. My family's like this a little bit. I did think it was funnier than Saturday Night Live. Yeah. It has been recently, even though, yes, the acting's a little stilted, but it is on Saturday Night Live as well. But it was at least more honest in its humor. I thought the one thing that was really interesting, aside from just the Trump, Hillary stuff, was when they're at the table and he brings home the sack of prescription drugs.
Right.
And he says, well, I could only get half because that's all we could afford. And they make a joke about it, like, okay, I'll give you 5 anti-inflammatories and you can have all the antidepressants. But the cost of prescription drugs and healthcare is actually still like a really big issue, especially for blue-collar Obama voters who voted for Trump. And I thought that was pretty interesting. I watched the second episode as well. Yeah. And they didn't do much politics.
No. I think, they started
out
with
of
a
their
bang.
system.
Yeah. Jesse, 21 years. Worth the wait for you? You were in your 30s.
Yeah, thank you. There's a few reasons why I was very successful. One, ABC did a great job of laying this out. They've been promoting this for over a year, and it's been spectacular. The rollout's been very special. And I mean, I like having to prep for the 5 by watching TV.
That
doesn't get any better than that. I really sweated out all afternoon. I watched the first half hour, and I thought it was accessible to middle-class Americans. Because like you said, they're struggling with the cost of prescription medications. One of the people had to move back in with her parents because she got fired. The father has the gun in the house. And, you know, it's just a stressful kind of, you know, middle-class, lower middle-class background, which has been different because over the years, you've seen sitcom families grow richer and richer and richer while the average family in America stays the same. So that was nice that not everybody had like a $3,000 suit and lived in a penthouse in Manhattan. Also good was they had the gender-bending son and this debate over being a surrogate. And usually those topics in network sitcoms are celebrated and they're normalized. But in this case, people are struggling with it and they're grappling with it, but they're doing it with humor and they're doing it in an open-minded way. And I think that's the reality to about 90% of the American people. The woman's marching sister with the pink hat, the nasty woman, is fantastic. And it's very balanced because this is the only time you've seen a conservative protagonist where she's not mocked on network television. And the sister gives it right back to Roseanne. I thought the jokes were relevant and pretty cutting edge. You have Obamacare jokes, pantsuit jokes, Russian jokes, fake news jokes. Even the non-political jokes, I thought the timing was good and the comedy writing's good. But the bottom line, I believe, is that the message of the show is that people come from different political backgrounds and you don't have to hate each other. You can talk it out and you don't assume that the other person's intentions are evil. And that's what makes it work.
Yeah, I think, Juan, that was the thing that